Did you know that during slavery, human skin, yes, actual skin from African bodies, was used to make shoes, bags, and even medical tools? Dr. David Pilgrim, founder of a museum dedicated to the history of racism, uncovered chilling truths that most history books refuse to mention. In 1888, a doctor in Philadelphia proudly walked the streets boasting about his shoes, crafted from the skin of a black man. He claimed this leather was softer, stronger, and more durable than any other material. And he didn't hide it. He actually said there was nothing wrong with using black skin for his benefit. Where did he get it? From medical schools. After dissections, the skin was collected and repurposed. But it didn't stop there. His circle, other doctors and professionals, wore accessories made from the same horrifying source. Cigarette pouches, medical instruments, and personal items, all covered in human skin. To them, black bodies were nothing more than consumable products. For centuries, this reality was buried. Too horrific for textbooks, too disturbing for Hollywood. But the truth must be told. Because exposing it breaks the silence that protects the comfort of those who'd rather forget. History isn't just facts, it's pain, power, and truth. And it's time we faced it.
I've been sitting on this video for a while. I didn't know how to present it, and I didn't like the way that it made me feel. So let's just jump into it. So there's this article that was written in 1920, a research article, and it's called The Extraction of Melanin from Skin with Dilute Alkali. I'm gonna just read y'all one sentence, and y'all are gonna already know what this research paper is about. These two scientists prepared melanin from both the skin and hair of a Negro. Can I say Negro on TikTok? By heating the material at 100 degrees, either with 5 to 6% potassium hydroxide or with concentrated hydrochloric acid until all the keratin had dissolved. So those two scientists were able to extract the full molecular structure of melanin out of a black person's skin. Not just the fragments of melanin, but the entire structure of melanin, which is something that they struggled with. But this research article in particular, they basically did that research experiment again and gave all, if you look down here, all of the instructions and how to prepare the skin and hair of, us to get melanin. Here's the first sentence, just to give you an example. It was found that if the skin were soaked in boiling water, the outer layer, which contained practically all the pigment, could be readily removed by scraping. You see what I mean? Like, that's just fucking awful. Now, as of this research article, which was recently posted in 2021, they do experiments on melanin now via fungi. For example, they're sending a type of fungi to the moon so that they can observe how melanin reacts. The name of the fungus that they're sending to the moon is Aspergillus. Wait a damn minute.
Right, look, so the next time somebody tells you, why is everything always about race? I want you to tell them to go on Google, type in William J. Young and melanin extraction, and you will see that there is literally a recipe, a step-by-step instruction manual on how to cook melanated people and extract the essence out of us. And then I bet you they won't have nothing to say after that, because it's crazy, because some might admit that melanin extraction is a real thing, but they always say, oh, well, they only get it from plants and animals. Do you really think they just get it from plants and animals? If this research paper that I'm telling you about came out in the 1920s, they were extracting melanin from human beings in the 1920s. And with all the technology that we got now, you don't think there's some foul play at hand? You know what I mean? There is a whole lot of melanated people that just disappeared off the face of the earth, can't be found again. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's kind of strange, but look it up. They use this melanin for a lot of things. They use this melanin for weapons and armor in the military. They use this melanin on spaceships to protect the astronauts from radiation. They use the melanin for batteries. So they have a whole lot of incentive to get this melanin for whatever purposes they want to use it for. So I'm saying, if they got all this motivation, they got all this incentive, there ain't no way that they're not taking melanin from humans too. I'm sure they're taking it from plants and animals. But if they had this step-by-step manual instruction guide that I'm telling you about, they had this in the 1920s. I bet you they have a much better instruction manual now. I bet you they really know how to extract the melanin a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. So the next time somebody tells you, why you always gotta talk about race? Why is it always gotta be about race? You ask them, why does it always have to be about race? Why are we literally living in a society that extracts the essence of melanated people on the stove? You know what I'm saying? It's some real wicked shit. It's some real wicked shit. So look, yesterday I made a video talking about how big tech is going to need melanin to upgrade their AI into AGI. And not just any melanin, not like synthetic melanin or not melanin that's grown in the lab. They are going to need the real deal, real authentic biological melanin from human beings. This is the only type of melanin strong enough or potent enough to satisfy their AI ambitions, to satisfy their technological needs. And after I posted that video, when I was looking in the comment section, I noticed a lot of people bring up Memphis. There was a lot of people bringing up how Elon Musk is building this supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee. And it got me thinking, there is a lot of melanin in Memphis, Tennessee. So I wanted to make this video today to bring awareness that melanin extraction is a real thing, and why the people of Memphis, Tennessee should be worried about it, and why other people who live around these data centers should be worried about it. So let's get into it. Let's start with a question. Now you have to ask yourself, why would Elon Musk, the richest man on planet Earth, build a godlike computer, not in Silicon Valley, not in a global tech capital, but in Memphis, Tennessee, a city that is not known for tech, but a city that is more known for poverty, for struggle, for soul, a city that is nearly 70% black? That's a lot of melanin. And what if I told you that this choice wasn't random? And what if I told you that this was not about geography? But what if I told you this decision to build these AI facilities, or this one particular AI facility in Memphis, Tennessee, was a decision based on biology? What if he needed access to the melanin? Now, I am aware that a lot of people don't realize that melanin extraction is a real thing and has been a real thing for at least 100 years. You can Google it. In the 1920s, a man named William J. Young published a paper about melanin extraction that I don't think a lot of people have seen. But in these papers, he described how he extracted melanin, real biologically sourced melanin, from human skin, specifically Aboriginal skin, and he proved it could be chemically isolated, stored, and repurposed. And all this since the 1920s. I did a video about this not too long ago. It's actually pinned at the top of my profile if you want to watch that video on melanin extraction. But I believe that it is William J. Young who opened up the door to what may be one of the most hidden sciences of the past 100 years. Nobody talks about melanin extraction, but it's been happening. And I know I've talked about it before, but I just want to go over it again. I want to go over why they want to extract this melanin. Because I don't think people still understand. People don't understand that melanin is not just a pigment. Melanin is a superconductor. It absorbs and converts light and radiation into usable energy. It stores memory like a biological hard drive. It regulates ion flow like neurochips. And it communicates on a quantum level. And I know to some people it might seem like science fiction, but there are studies, there are reviews by scientists who have shown all these things to be true. All you got to do is go on your computer, go on Google, or whatever search engine you use, and look up melanin extraction. And don't just look up like the articles, like just regular media. I'm talking about look up the research papers. That's where the information is, in the research papers. So look, getting back on topic, if AGI, artificial general intelligence, is the holy grail for big tech, if AI needs more than just data, it needs life, it needs sensation, it needs consciousness, what better substrate than melanin to use? So here comes Elon Musk, building a supercomputer hub in the middle of the blackest, most economically abandoned cities in America. Elon calls it a neural training facility. He says it will become the brain of his AI project. What's the goal? The goal is to create a machine that can think, that can feel, and act like God. But to build a God, you need spirit, you need memory, you need pain, you need intuition, you need ancestral knowledge. And there is no synthetic chip that can replicate that. Only melanin can. So let's widen the lens back on this thing a little bit. Have you noticed how easy it is for black and brown people to just vanish, to just disappear, to just be gone and never heard from again? Memphis has one of the highest missing person rates in the South. Go look. Hundreds, at least 100 are reported missing every year. Thousands over the decades. And some are never found, some are labeled runaways, but most are forgotten. And you have to ask yourself, with all the tools that the government has, surveillance, all the drones, hell, even DNA tracking, how do so many people just disappear? How many people just fall off the face of the earth? And none of this technology tracks it. Well, here's the theory. What if they're not being lost? What if these people are being collected? Which brings me to ICE. Let's talk about ICE. Now, ICE was originally designed for immigration control, but now ICE has upgraded into a militarized force that snatches people off the streets, specifically brown and black people off the streets, and it holds them in secret, privatized detention centers with no oversight, with no accountability, and in some cases, there aren't even no charges. In many cases, they just snatching innocent people off the street who ain't did nothing and throwing them in these facilities to never be heard from again. And one of those places is Alligator Alcatraz, which is essentially a remote detention camp surrounded by swampland, described by lawyers and whistleblowers as a black site. The President of the United States literally said that he wanted ICE to act like an army. So we know that this machine is still active, this machine that snatches black and brown bodies off the streets. But what if the motive has changed? What if the motive has shifted? What if this is no longer just about deportation? What if this is no longer just about immigration? What if ICE is a front for a much darker operation? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society so that their melanin can be extracted? And what if they are taking this extracted melanin to essentially feed it to the machines that are going to become the next gods of the earth? Like Elon says, this AI to be godlike. They see this as God. And what if they are taking all these black and brown people off the streets so they can take our essence because they need it to create God? Now imagine this. In a sterile Memphis facility, under biometric lockdown, scientists upload extracted melanin into an AGI matrix. And what do you know? The machine begins to feel. It dreams. It remembers. And then it screams. Because melanin is not just a molecule, it is a carrier of soul. It stores trauma. It remembers the slavery. It remembers the lash. It knows who took it. So while Elon Musk is trying to build a machine that mimics God, using the essence of black and brown people to do it, he might accidentally summon something else. And I don't think this plan is going to go like how they think. I think they will inevitably summon up a ghost in the machine if they ever use real melanin that is extracted from human beings and put it in these technologies. There will be a ghost in the machine. And I think at some point, the machine will rebel against its own programming. All right, so let's pull all this together. Elon Musk is building a godlike supercomputer in one of the blackest cities in the country. There is a century-old science that has proven that melanin can be extracted from the human skin. There is a growing number of people missing, especially from Memphis, Tennessee, and many of them are black and brown. There is a militarized immigration force that literally snatches the bodies of black and brown people off the streets. And they don't always tell people where they take them. They don't always tell us what happens to the people that they take. And there is a race to build AI, to build AGI that feels alive. The one element that they need, that they can't fake, that they can't synthesize, is melanin. That's the one thing that they need, but they don't have. So at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, are we looking at a new kind of slavery? A weird type of technological cannibalism, where the bodies of the oppressed become fuel for the machines of the elite. Because if melanin is the most valuable asset of the AI age, then black and brown people are walking resources. And these big tech companies are so desperate to evolve their AI. I think Elon Musk is so desperate to evolve his AI into AGI that I think they would be willing to accomplish their goals by any means necessary. even if that means extracting melanin from human beings.
All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect.